And welcome to the webinar today, the marketing campaign that every accountant should run in 2022. I'm here with Anthea, who's Bizink's Head of Growth. Hey, Anthea.
Hey everyone.
Thanks to everyone for coming along. We'll get started in just a minute. I'd love to know where you're dialing in from today. I'm in the, actually not so sunny anymore, was sunny earlier, South Island of New Zealand. Where are you, Anthea?
I'm in Brisbane. So it's been hot and then raining and then somewhere in between at the moment. So
Cool. Well, yeah, you can fire into the chat. Let us know where you're dialing in from. Love to know. And right through the session, if you want to use the chat or the Q&A, we'll be happy to take questions either as we go along or at the end of the session. So that'll be cool. Hey, Raymond in Auckland, how are you doing? Good that you guys have got a bit more freedom now after that very long lockdown. It wasn't cool. Hey, Sean in Edmonton in Canada. How you doing? John in Brisbane. Maybe not too far away from Anthea.
no.
Hey, Jeff in Sydney. Robert in London, cold. Yeah, last time I went to London, it was very cold.
Surprise, yeah.
I'm originally from the UK and I've forgotten how cold it was in winter. Cool. All right. Hey, Scott in Adelaide. Well, look, let's get into it. Bit of housekeeping. So we will be recording the session. I'm just double checking that. Now we're recording. And we will send out a recording afterwards to everybody. This is going to be an awesome session, right? This is a campaign. I genuinely believe this, not some like marketing hype. I genuinely believe every firm should run this campaign, not just in 2022, but every year. And not only that, we're going to be giving away a whole bunch of cool stuff. So thanks for all of you for attending. What we're going to do is have a draw after the webinar, and we're going to give away a website and 1 year of hosting. So pretty cool prize, and that will get your Bizink websites that have a whole bunch of marketing on the back of them. So that's going to be really helpful for one firm. We've got a marketing session where we're going to schedule 90 days of marketing for you. And we've got a bunch of spot prizes that we're going to give away today, including some blog posts written for you, branded ebook, annual subscription to our new WordPress plugin, which is launching soon, a brochure, and a marketing and strategy and planning session. So, so that's very cool. Stacey's in the hairdressers, so she's going to watch what she can.
That's commitment.
That's unique. That's unique. I'm going to the hairdressers tomorrow, so I apologize my unruly hair. Cool. All right. Well, enough of that. Let's get into it today. Look, the reason that a lot of firms give me and Anthea for not doing marketing or just being stuck is that I don't know where to start. That comes up again and again. It's like I don't know where to start, and so that is what we want to solve for you today. With a campaign which we've seen several firms do with awesome results. It's really simple to create, but it has a lot of longevity. So, you put the effort in now, and I think this is going to work for you in 2022 and probably every year after that, maybe with a few tweaks each year. And all it goes like is this. You need to speak to your clients, or you don't even need to speak to them, right? You hopefully you're speaking to them already. What are the 5 questions that your clients always ask you? Now, I'm going to guess, you get asked the same questions again and again. And probably one of them, especially this time of year, is that, can I claim that beer as a tax-deductible expense, or some variation of that, right? That must be on everyone's list. What can I claim as, entertaining or whatever it is? So the key to this campaign is it's a question and answer format where you're going to write down those questions and then put a few bullet points to each one where you answer them. And honestly, now you have all of the content ideas you need for like months or even years of marketing. And I'm going to show you how to do that by turning those questions and the answers into marketing content like blogs, emails, and social media posts. And why does this work so well? Well, if your clients are always asking you that stuff, particularly like, if you've got a decent sized client base, that's a pretty representative sample of all business owners, right? So you can pretty safely assume that, you know, if your clients are asking you these questions, then that's what other people are thinking about. And some of those people are going to be searching in Google for the answers. So like the blogs that we're going to talk about, they could show up in those searches. Other people are going to be looking on social media. So, you know, if you're posting there, again, you can get some traffic to your site. And, you know, we'll talk about sending emails as well. So you can go direct with this and speak directly to the people who are interested. Because marketing works best when it addresses pain points. I've literally just got off a call with a firm in Canada, and we were just talking about that. Is, you know, you're trying to solve someone's problem. No one is particularly out there looking for accounting or bookkeeping. You know, what they want is a solution to their problem, which is a variation of accounting and bookkeeping. And so what this campaign does, it just surfaces those problems and the answers to them. So the first spot prize that we're going to do, I said we're going to be doing spot prizes right throughout. I want to know, and you can type this into the chat, is what's the weirdest question a client has ever asked you? If you want to, you can do it directly to us as the panelist. If you don't
yeah, I'm a bit worried about what we might get.
I want to know what's the weirdest question a client has ever asked you, and whoever comes up with the best answer for that, we're going to give you a session with one of our writers where we're going to write 3 blog posts for you. So we're gonna give away that as a prize. So keep those coming in, and we will. I can see we've got some good ones coming in already. So we'll save those for a minute when we go into the next section. And Anthea, you scan through those yeah, this is going to be hard to pick one, I reckon.
Yeah, don't mind me if I'm just giggling along. Yeah.
Oh, these are great. Okay, let's move on. We'll do those in a minute. Right. So you've written out this list of top 5 questions you always get asked, right? It doesn't have to be 5. I'm just using 5 as the example. It could, I'd suggest at least 5, but, you know, could be 6, could be 10. Probably don't want to have it as 20, you know, that might be too many. So you got this list. What is next? And the first step, I think, is to write a blog post on each of these topics. Now, you know, does it have to be a blog post? It could be a page on your website. You know, I just personally think a blog is one of the best formats for doing this. And you know, remember, if your clients are asking these things, you know, other people are thinking about them too. The ideal format for these blogs is put the question is in the title, and then the answer is in the blog itself. And what you want to do is you just want to make it really clear so that that question, you know, try and keep out jargon from it, like have it in the way that people would talk to you about it, because that is what people will be searching for in Google, which we're going to be talking about next. Is, you know, people searching for these things, they're probably not going to use the right term that you might use for it, but that doesn't matter, right? Like the phrase we often talk about in Bizink is, do you want to be right or do you want to be rich? You know, being right, it doesn't matter. We're attracting people to us. So you've now got these blogs that they're answering these questions. We know people are interested in them. We know other people beyond clients are going to be interested in them, but even for clients, really useful, because if you're saying this stuff again and again, you can just save yourself time and go, hey, we've got a blog about that. Now, not only is that a time saver, it looks really professional as well, because, you know, it's, oh, you've thought of this already. So it's really cool for that as well. Now, I know what you're going to be thinking, and I know time is a big pain point when it comes to marketing for a lot of you. But what I think about these blogs, right, like the content of them should come really easily. You know, if you don't know the answers to the questions, right, like, you know, you've got other problems than marketing. So the content should come easily. And even if you wrote, if we're talking about this example of like 5 blogs, if you wrote 1 a week, the whole load would be done by January. Or even if you did 1 a month, which isn't too much of a stretch, right? That's April, we'd be done by. And might seem like a lot of effort, but I think once it's done, you're going to have these same questions. They're going to be from year to year. They're going to be pretty much the same. The answer is going to be pretty much the same. So, maybe, pandemic years, or they're a bit different. The questions might come in, but, generally they're going to have the same questions. And this is what we call in the marketing game evergreen content, in that it keeps working year after year. And if you get stuck, right, hire a writer. It's not hard to find a writer. We can help you with that at Bizink. It's such a valuable campaign, and once you've got it done, you've got the content. So yeah, if that's the blocker, hire a writer. Okay, so we've got to pick one. There's been some awesome answers. 2 people have had people try to claim escort services. That's pretty amazing to me.
Yeah.
A haircut. Well, Stacey's having
Stacey
a haircut. Maybe
Right.
claiming that. Who have you picked one out, Anthea?
I've got one I think is pretty good. Is it better to
Okay.
leave my spouse before or after December 31?
That's a winner. That's definitely a winner.
Pretty amazing, far out.
Yeah. We have one client in the US at Bizink who specializes in divorce accounting. and he did it because it was based on his own bitter experience. So he might have a few like that.
Talk about pain points.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for all those answers. There's some really funny ones in there. Escorts, can I pay the IRS in Bitcoin? There's all kinds of awesome ones in there. So thanks for sharing those. They're pretty funny. So we'll email the winner, and you'll have some blogs written for you. Okay, cool. Next one. So we've got our blogs. What do we do next? So we want to amplify this content, right? We've put the effort, the big efforts in getting the blogs written, and that's going to take, I don't know, let's say the blogs take 2 hours each. That's 10 hours work to invest into that. If you pay a writer, well, whatever dollars that is, but we've got this content, we've got this whole body of content. What we want to do now is repurpose and amplify that content. And the first channel I would do that with is email, right? So anyone who listens to my stuff, you'll know I really rate email. People think it's old-fashioned. Yeah, you're going to find it's one of the highest rates of return on investment of any type of digital marketing. We know this because we send millions of emails for accounting firms every year, and the open and click rates of those emails consistently outperform the best benchmarks in MailChimp. And so I'm not saying that to say Bizink email is magical or anything like that. People open emails from you. People open emails from their accountant and bookkeeper. So what would I do with with this campaign? First one I'd be doing would be sending a series of what I would call email blasts to clients. So one-off emails about the blogs. You could do one now, like, what can I claim as expenses? My Christmas kind of entertaining or whatever, something like that, and not escorts. and so you'd have one email per blog. Send them out. I'd just be sending those to clients, because then you've got one email per month for 5 months. So it's a lot of good marketing you can do. It's adding value to your existing clients, which helps with the retention. And obviously that could lead to more work, right? If one of the problems they've got is something, they've got to pay you to help out with, it's a great way to introduce that to them. And so I don't think there's like an easier way to be proactive with your clients than, knowing what's bothering them and sending out content about that. So that's really cool. If you have a list of prospects, so people you want to sell to, and you should do, right? I'd be sending the same campaign to them. Don't really need to tweak the email. Maybe the sign up is a little bit different, but we know that if clients are thinking about this stuff, other business owners are thinking about this too. So you're showing them you're an expert on the topics, and then that could make get you a new client. Blogs would also make great sections in your email newsletter. So we would recommend every firm sends a monthly newsletter, and I'd be taking a little snippet from the blog, in the Q&A format with a read more, taking them to your website. So a great way to pull your clients onto your website. 5 engaging sections of content you can do in your newsletter. So again, that's 5 months potentially. And also, I'll talk about repetition a little bit. don't be scared of repetition. In fact, it's your ally when it comes to marketing. You need to say the same stuff over and over again, right? You've really got to hit people over the head sometimes to get them to get the message. And this stuff, just because you think someone's seen it once, they probably haven't read it, or they may not have concentrated, or maybe it wasn't relevant to them now. 6 months time it is. So we can recycle this stuff, which is another reason I like it so much, is that we can keep reusing it. If you want to be a bit more advanced than your kind of email blast, email newsletter type thing, you could use email automation to create a course from these blogs. So this is a course we created for one of Bizink's clients on creating a business plan. And people sign up to this on the website, delivered by email. The course is over 7 days. And using these blogs, so you've got the 5 questions, you could create a similar course. Let's call it the 5 questions business owners always ask accountants. So when people sign up, you would create this sequence in your email software and automate those responses over, I would suggest, over 5 days, or however many questions and answers you've got. And such an awesome way to either capture leads, because it's valuable content you're giving away on your website, and then nurture those leads so you can demonstrate more value to them. You could also offer it to clients, good way to get the content into them. So that might sound a bit fancy, setting up courses and automation and things like that. Honestly, it's a lot easier than you think. We have email automation built into all of our Bizink websites and client hubs. Tools like MailChimp have that built in. I don't think on the free plan, but most email marketing softwares would have that. So it's nothing too fancy. It's just a sequence of 5, 6, 7 emails, depending on how many blogs you've got, and you just trigger that off. So if you're a Bizink client and would like help setting up something like that, then contact support through either the chat or email us at support@bizinkonline.com, and we can help you set that up in your own site. Okay, so who's confused by SEO? You can tell me in the chat. And that isn't accidental. I think with some SEO people on the technical side, SEO is really confusing. And I think it's that there's a thing called Dunning-Kruger syndrome, which is quite an interesting phenomenon. Which is that the more well-read and kind of more expert people become, the less sure they become, and the people who are least kind of knowledgeable at a subject tend to be the most adamant and know all about it, right? So I think we can all identify with that a little bit in kind of what you read on social media and things like that. And I think SEO is one of those things where in one way it's really complicated, in another way it's really simple. So I can't tell you about all the technical bits that Adrian, our head of SEO, would be able to, but what Google is trying to do is give the best ranking to the best pages about certain topics. That's it, right? So if you have an in-depth blog on a question, and that is a really good blog on that topic, you stand a really good chance of ranking well in Google. And I'll give you a real example. I use this example a lot. Kind of where I got this whole idea from, like all my good marketing ideas, I stole them off someone. Wise Advice, one of Bizink's clients, they've got this blog here you can see on screen where Brad, who's the firm owner, he wrote about claiming GST on secondhand goods. Now, that says 2017. I know he wrote actually before that, so it must have been reposted. But so that's the top 3 results in New Zealand for that search. And you can see that, they're third for that thing. They used to be above the IRD. I mean, Google changes all the time, so maybe they are. Sometimes it's the IRD, that's the government, and they were ranking above them. So if you write a good post on a topic, you've got that potential to claim a high spot in Google, which is really hard for other stuff when you're an accounting and bookkeeping firm. So I think that's a really good way to do SEO if you're an accounting firm and understand that stuff. And What I'd really talk about would be quality versus quantity. So, this kind of being top of Google has got this kind of mythical status and doesn't always mean what you think it would mean. What I'd say is the more specific the questions and answers you have, the more likely you are to get a high ranking, but there'll be less traffic. So, if you did something that was very industry specific, that could be, you could rank for that quite easily, but you might get less traffic. A broader question, which might be just on a general accounting or bookkeeping topic, there's probably a lot written about that. So that means more competition. That means you're less likely to rank high in Google, but you could get more traffic if you do manage that. My two things on that. One would be with these bigger ones like this one we have here, GST on secondhand goods, you might get some low quality leads coming through from that. I've talked about this one. It's like, it's worthwhile, but you do have to filter because, you're going to get people coming through. They might be tire kickers or whatever. So my vote would always be not just with SEO, but generally with your marketing but be more narrow, be really specific. So go for that quality over quantity thing. If you wanted to take the SEO further, you could write more blogs on the same topics. So, really kind of drill into the blogs, go more detailed, amplify the content on social media. So we're going to talk about that next, but Google likes it when it sees content is being shared and commented on, that helps it rank it higher. So yeah, you could take it a bit further, but certainly just doing the 5 posts would be a really good thing on its own right. So social, this campaign gives you almost endless possibilities for social media posts. Formula is this, right? So you've got 5 blog posts, right? Stop writing social posts about them. So you don't need to be anything fancy here. Just pick out different aspects of the blog and turn them into text and image content. We've literally just been having that discussion this morning. Hey, Anthea, about some content we're producing, and we go, okay, we're doing these ebooks. Yeah, we could probably pull out of those like 10 posts about 10 different parts of the ebook, and then we can put images to those. And so, one piece of content suddenly springs out all this extra social stuff, right?
Yeah, I think that word amplify is a big part of that, really. And it's, you put the work into the one big piece, right? And then you've got, 5, 10, however many, social media posts or other little snippets that you can use in other ways. So it's worthwhile doing that one piece because you really can amplify it in other ways. Yeah,
and like when we say, copy parts of the blog out, or like, that's literally what I mean. You don't have to rewrite it. You can just take a heading or a sentence or whatever. You might want to rewrite them, but you don't have to. And we certainly wouldn't a lot of the time. Like repetition, repurposing, that is what big marketing companies do. So, you could also then take the kind of more text kind of focus posts and use a tool like Canva to make those posts look really cool. So, canva.com, you can do really nice social media posts. We can post that in the chat so you can see that. Let's say we do that, right? So we do 5 social media posts for each of those 5 blogs. That's 25 social media posts that you could spin up in, an hour or 2, I would suggest, all linking back to valuable content on your website. And they're all posts that can be recycled, reused, reposted. I imagine some of you know this already, but whenever you post something on social media, there's only a tiny proportion of your followers ever look at that. So if you ever want to have any success with like a content-driven social media strategy, you have to repost the same stuff several times. And if you follow anyone who's really good at this stuff, you will see they have these kind of high value posts that they repeat on like a daily, weekly, monthly kind of schedule or whatever. So that's really important. Get those done. And default sites, if you're thinking about that, I would probably be looking at LinkedIn and Facebook. they're the kind of defaults for most firms. Perhaps, Instagram or other platforms, and one accountant who's got a massive following on TikTok is not going to be for everyone, right? But, I think you're pretty safe on LinkedIn and Facebook. All right. So a quick pause before we go on to the final parts of this campaign. How's your marketing planning going for 2022? Has anyone started yet? I imagine not amazing if if I know accountants and bookkeepers, or all businesses, to be fair. So something that might help with that is our marketing assets checklist, which you've been doing a lot of work on, Anthea, and we launched this, I don't know, maybe a month ago, and it's been super popular. So this is just a really simple way to audit the things that we recommend all firms have in their marketing toolkit, right?
Yeah, and it's in the name, it's assets, it's things that, we recommend you have, or, software and those sorts of things. Obviously, it depends where you are in the journey too, and you can, it's got a little checkbox, so you can come back and assess that later, as well as you next year maybe start to invest in a few more things. But it covers the basics that we recommend you have, so that should help. And there's a link in the chat from Diane to check that out.
Yeah, cool. Well, one of the things that we recommend you have is a brochure. So either, a PDF or printed, or both. And, brochures might seem old school, but, when you're selling something intangible like accounting or bookkeeping, it's nice to have things to give away. So actually following up, with a thing, and that's what a brochure is, right? Something people can either hold, or they can download it and look at it. I think that's really valuable. And you might do that following up a meeting. You might meet someone at a networking event, and rather than just sending an email, you can be like, hey, this is what we do, and present that in a nice branded and kind of succinct format. So we're soon going to start offering a brochure creation service, because we've seen a need for that with firms that we're working with. So our next spot prize is a free brochure. We'll create a branded brochure for you. So if you want that, we're going to just run a quick poll.
Sorry, I don't have that button. Would you be able to do it?
Oh, yeah, sure. That is not a problem.
We were just saying how much we love Zoom, weren't we?
Yeah. I don't like giving them so much money. Let's launch the poll. So it's a simple one. Have you got a brochure? Yes, no, or not sure? Be interested to know. Yeah, I think they're kind of like, in one way, they seem old school, and like a lot of things, you can do it well or you can do it badly. But having something you can send to people to follow up, particularly like a sales meeting, I think is really important. We'll give people a few more seconds. It's coming out mostly that people don't. Karen would love a brochure.
Who's putting a pitch in for the spot prize?
Yeah. Cool. All right, let's end that one. So what were the final numbers? Let me share. We got 73% haven't, 27% do. Cool. All right, well, we will pick a winner out, and we will let you know about that. Cool. Let's move on to the next part. So we're going to have a look at lead magnets. Now, lead magnets for me are something that every firm should have. What I mean by a lead magnet is a valuable piece of content that you give away in exchange for someone's email address. And the aim really is to turn your website visitors into leads. Because even the best accounting websites, it's not like you're getting masses of inquiries coming through. It's not like Amazon.com. But some people are kind of interested in you, not quite ready to engage. A lead magnet can grab those people, get them into your marketing system, and mean that you can keep communicating with them. The constraint to having a lead magnet, like most things when it comes to accountants and bookkeepers and marketing, is just having the time to create one. So guess what? Like, these 5 blogs that we're talking about can be combined together to make an ebook. and that makes a really, really good piece of lead magnet content. So that might sound like cheating or a bit kind of like, oh, really? Can you do that? But honestly, this is what repurposing content like this is exactly what big content inbound companies do. So, take the blogs, maybe you write a bit of an intro, a bit of an outro, not much more effort needed. You'll want to get a designer to make them look nice, that's important. But again, not much effort needed there. And then once you've got this ebook, I mean, you can call it whatever you want. I would call it an ebook. You can put that then behind a form on your website, much like the example I showed with the course earlier. And then when people, obviously that form is trying to capture people's email address, you've got a lead magnet to throw on your website, which, again, you could follow up with some drip emails like we talked about. You could promote this on your social channels. You could promote it via email. So there's a lot of bang for your buck in doing this. And we do this stuff all the time at Bizink with using valuable content like ebooks, checklists, downloads in our sales process. So when people are evaluating us, we want to demonstrate trust and that we know what we're talking about. We would often be giving away content like this, so it's super useful. Now, I'm in a generous mood. I'm giving away lots of stuff today, so I want to give one of you a free ebook. Going to do another quick poll. I'm quite interested to know, so we've been writing these ebooks on different topics. I'm interested to know, what topic do you think your clients are most interested in? So I'm going to launch this poll, and so what topics are the most interesting? Saving money, making money, growth, exiting their business. I think I've written existing their business there. Exiting, I mean leaving, or technology. Oh, something else is coming out as I put something else. You can type that into the chat if you want to tell me. Saving money is a funny one, right? I know quite a few people who seem to have gone into business because they think they can do loads of tax write-offs. I'm sure you've got some clients like that. Cash flow. Yes, yeah. I suppose I was thinking making money. That's a good one. Yeah. Ian says the common question he gets is, how do I pay less tax? Yeah. One of the richest people I ever met. He was a tire distributor in the UK, and used to be one of my biggest clients. I had a business there. He told me, he's like, I like paying tax. He's like, if I pay tax, no, I'm making a lot of money. That was his view on it.
Yeah, we all know, probably all these accountants on here know a few more than us, but we all know someone who's trying to, get out of it or do something a bit weird. Thinking about it in a strange way, hey? Do you have time to answer a quick question about the ebooks while we're here?
Sure.
Because Todd's mentioned the problem I had when I was trying to write an ebook was having the confidence in writing so that I sound like an expert.
So, it's a couple of things. So I think writing is a marketing kind of superpower, and not just that, business, right? Like nearly everything in business is is writing. Okay, so emails, you're always writing to persuade people, whether it's like, I'm trying to sell you something, or I don't know, you guys are trying to persuade someone to finally give you all their receipts or whatever. So being able to write persuasively and confidently, I think, is something that people don't invest. All the writing training they had was probably when they were, I don't know, like 11 in school or whatever, and so I would say, number one, go on a writing course. There's one called copyhackersthings.com. Amazing website. There's loads of good courses on there. I would just say, that's going to pay you back way more than your marketing is being able to write. First thing I got you to do when you joined Bizink, wasn't it, Anthea? Do a writing course.
Yeah, unlearn the way I'd learned in uni and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I could talk about this stuff a lot, but the way people get taught to write is this weird sort of 19th century essay style, like however, therefore. No one talks like that, right? So like, you should write how you talk. And there's a bit more to it than that, but so I'd say take a course. The other thing I would say is hire a writer. You know, this stuff is important. Most modern marketing is about creating content. So if you can't do it yourself, get someone to do it for you. You know, we offer specialized writing services for accountants, but it's not hard to find writers. You know, on freelancing websites like Upwork, you can find somebody to do that for you, and you know, their hourly rate is probably not dissimilar to your own, so it's a pretty fair exchange.
I would just add to that that like you are the subject matter expert in these things, and particularly, you know, what we're talking about today, it's the top 5 questions your clients are asking you. You've probably answered these questions time and time again, you know, over the phone anyway. So I think it's a good sort of taste tester into maybe writing some of these things. But yeah, or, you know, definitely invest in a writer to help you out and to, you know, position it or change the tone and that sort of stuff. But, you know, a little bit of confidence with these things. You know, you've instilled that in me, Matt, a bit as well. You know, you are the expert in these things. So you can probably talk about it till the cows come home with your clients. So maybe it's talking about it with the writer and recording it that way might be one way to get it out. So
yeah, totally. Like what people make the mistake of with writing, I think as well, particularly marketing writers, they think they need to write like with these like fancy words, and that's the worst way to write. You know, always use the simplest way that you can to write. So how you would talk to someone is the best way to say that. And so, you know, if you're writing in a way that seems different than the way you would be with a client, then you've done it wrong. And the way to test that is just read your stuff back. Read your stuff out loud. I do that all the time. I literally read my stuff aloud, and if it seems like clunky or weird, just write it how you'd say it. Don't feel there's this way that you should write like a business speak or any. That's the worst way to write. Just write like a human being. It's kind of, it's hard to, it's simple, but it's kind of hard to do, to kind of unlearn all the crap you get taught and kind of formal stuff that, you know, you read the really good writers. It's very simple, the way they do it.
You could also just, you know, get a few clients to proofread it or something like that. And I know that a lot of our clients say they specialize in, you know, maybe an obvious example like construction, you know, they just want things in their language, and they appreciate it when you do that. So they may be able to give you feedback like that too. So.
Yeah, totally. No one ever says to you, "Hey, I'm glad you used fancy words there," or no one will ever say that. Cool. All right, we're going to get on to the last tactic in our campaign, and that is webinars or events. So question and answer structure is a really cool way to do a live event or a webinar. So events are tried and tested marketing tactic for accountants and bookkeepers, right? With the pandemic, maybe not as easy to do in person, or it may be impossible to do in-person events, but you know, a webinar can have a similar effect, just like we're doing now. So is anyone doing events or webinars, or have they done them in the past? I'm interested to know. How I would suggest you do this one would be as, you know, you could do all 5 questions if you're doing 5 in one event, or perhaps split them into an event, you know, 1 question, 1 answer, into an event of their own. And that's probably how I would do it. You know, I think usually the simplest way is the best, the shortest. Again, like no one's ever going to thank you for doing, you know, an hour of content when you could have done 15 or 10, you know. So a small amount of value done really well is kind of better than, you know, trying to throw loads of ideas. I've made these mistakes, so I can you know, tell you on that that's what people want. And so say you're doing this event, you know, you can also combine some of the other tactics into this, right? So you can be, you know, have the lead magnet, for example. So we just talked about this lead magnet, the ebook, you know, offer that as an incentive to sign up to the event, or potentially give it out afterwards as a, you know, a nice follow-up. And if it's a webinar, right, you can record that that webinar, share it to those who attend. Like every webinar we do, hey Auntie, it's just like, is it being recorded? Everyone wants the recording, right? Yeah. So like, but what you can do with that is throw that on YouTube. So then you've got like a place to link to. You can then put that into your blog maybe, or do another blog about it. So that's amplifying the content. Do social posts about that. You can see how this works, right? You know, it just kind of spins out. Putting on YouTube is really good for your SEO, right? So who owns YouTube? It's Google. They like it that you post videos on there, you know. So linking that stuff all together can definitely help with your search engine ranking as well.
I was just thinking as well, you know, if you don't want to do this big webinar, which, you know, we're not suggesting a big long thing anyway, but, you know, it can be shorter videos and exactly the same sort of thing. Then you post it on YouTube, then on your site, and you can send that direct link if you get that question as well. So saves time for everyone.
Yeah, cool. That sounds like some people are doing some cool events as well. Particularly around the pandemic, and see Ian did some like big formal ones and like a daily catch up. You know, I think probably people got Zoom fatigue by the after a little while during the pandemic, but they've certainly, you know, on balance been like an amazing way that we could keep in touch with clients. And, you know, we certainly saw people who'd never done that stuff before jump in and get involved with it. So yeah, I mean, we've built a lot of our business from doing webinars with firms from all around the world, just like this. So they definitely work. So that's it, right? You know, like from that simple idea of answering your clients' questions, which you do every day, you know, you're probably sick of answering those questions. Well, why not turn them into something you can, you know, make some money out of, spin them up into this whole marketing campaign. And what is great about this is it's not this like one and done thing that, you know, load of effort, it kind of works, kind of doesn't, whatever. It's like, I can guarantee this is going to work. And I can guarantee that the questions are going to be pretty similar from year to year. So this is going to be a campaign that will keep on delivering the goods for you, you know, 2022, 2023. You know, business owners always want to save tax, claim escorts, whatever it is they want to do.
Two truths of accounting.
That would have made me laugh if it's one person put it, but two people from different countries putting it. That's hilarious. Maybe that's one of the suggestions for you, you know. Okay, we should probably wrap up there before I get carried away. But yeah, I think it's such a good campaign, you know, and the firms we've seen doing this, they do really well from it. Couple more bits we've got for you today. We've got a marketing habits checklist. So we talked about the assets checklist. That's like a point in time, right? But like everything in business, the best results come from consistency. So creating good habits. So we created this habits checklist, which I really like. You've done an awesome job on this, Anthea. And so it's very similar to the one we gave away earlier, but this is more based on kind of like assess where you are now, and then a point in the future, 3 months, how you going with that. So it's a really cool doc to keep your marketing on track for next year. So another thing I think would help with all of that is obviously having a marketing plan. I actually know about 2/3 of firms don't, because we do research all of the time, but we want to help one of you create a real winning marketing plan. So final giveaway that we're talking about now is a session where we're going to help you complete these checklists, marketing scorecard, and also like a marketing plan for 2022. So to be in for this one, simple question: does your firm have a marketing plan? I'm going to guess 2/3 down.
Yeah, I've got a few answers coming in thick and fast.
Meant to launch the poll, didn't I? Hang on. I'm no good at these webinars.
We can also track the chat though. So
yeah. I'll launch it anyway. Hold on.
Yeah.
It's easy enough to do.
This, the one that's on screen here, this slide about the marketing habits is, we've also got a webinar we can send you if you're interested. And by the way, we'll send all these links out after in the email too. So that's a good webinar with insight from, you know, real firms about what they're doing each month, each week. So it's really, again, in the name, it's habits, it's recurring things as well. And marketing plans pretty much top of that list. I think we can see in the screenshot there. So cool. Yeah, hopefully this would help.
I like Tegan's answer, mid creating it. That's the perpetual situation.
Always, yeah.
Always. But that's like you never finish it, right? Like that's the thing. You never finish your plan. That's okay. It's okay to be like that. Keep working through that. That's okay. So it doesn't have to be this big Word document. That's not what we suggest at all. So we kind of, similar to our plans, like checklists, like little plans here and there. It's more about you got to get something going. So that's cool. Okay, well, let me share these results. Shocking, 88% don't have a plan. It's getting worse.
Yeah.
Well, we'll pick someone out, and you will have a plan for 2022. So do not fear. Cool. So just as we wrap up, so I hope you found that's a campaign that would be both kind of valuable and simple. I think they're both important things. And honestly, like I say, I think it's one every firm should do. If you get stuck and you want help doing it, Bizink can help you with that. We specialize in websites and digital marketing for accountants and bookkeepers. And if you're not already a client, you can book a meeting with us with book a demo link. I've actually got one final spot prize, which is an annual subscription to our new WordPress plugin, which is going to launch early in 2022. Now, you have to have a WordPress site to use this, right? But it's pretty cool. It's going to, don't have to be a Bizink site. You can turn this on and you'll get pages of business and accounting content that just feeds into any WordPress site. To fill in, to go into the draw for that, got one last poll to do. Fill that in, and yeah, you go into the draw for that. It's really cool, this WordPress plugin. I think it's going to be massive for us next year. So I'm just going to launch this one quickly, and we can do that. And that leaves us a little bit of time to do questions. So does anybody have any questions about this campaign? Or look, I'm happy to answer any other marketing questions, or Anthony's here too as well. So you can fire those into the chat or the Q&A, and we might have had a few already, Anthony.
Yeah, we did get some. I'm just scrolling up. Sorry. So Tegan said, you did a poll earlier about the ebook topic. Like, what topics do you think that clients want to know more about? That sort of question. And she's, they've answered what they think, as accountants talking to their clients, but she's wondering, what do they actually want to know? Is there a difference there? How do you find that sort of stuff out?
Sorry, just say again. I just got
so just the difference. Just the different, how do you find out what clients really want to know? So sometimes we think, they asking me these sorts of questions, or, I think they want to know this or need to know this, but, what do they actually want the topics to be about?
Escorts. No. So you're the expert on questioning people, not me. I think it's your questioning style, right? So maybe you answer that one, but yeah.
Yeah, I think chat to your clients is the answer, right? You might not, depending on how many clients you have, you might not be able to do that all at once now, but every client you talk to, we have a curiosity questioning approach. So just be curious, ask about their pain points, and start tracking that over time, each initial call you do with people. But also as you keep chatting and learning about the clients, you could start getting some information on that, or you could just do a client survey or something like that too. It's just probably, as Matt's saying, just ask them and find that out. If you're a Bizink client, we have a forms module that can do a client survey type thing. I tend to think, particularly if you have a niche, it might be good to tell clients, the reason you're doing this is because we'd like to put more useful content out there for you in this industry or this segment, and it's going to benefit them too, so they may have a vested interest in helping as well. So
yeah, I would say with the questioning as well is to stay at the 10,000 foot level as much as you can. So sometimes to ask the question is like, I don't know, like, what's bothering you this year? Ask that kind of question. Don't say like, do you want to know about claiming expenses or something? Because that they're just
leading the
like,
witness.
they might be like, no, but they don't really know what it is. So you got to get that out of them. So I think it's developing a good questioning style, and I can't think of any resources we could share about that, but me and Auntie did a course about that, which was pretty game changing for us. Was just learning how to question. You know, some people have done this kind of stuff. It's not rocket science, but asking open questions rather than closed questions, which can just have a yes and no answer. Yeah, not leading people. You know, just trying to talk to them and let them speak. That I think is how you really get to it, because, you know, as an example, accountants always talk about cash flow, but I don't really, I mean, businesses do use that, but it's kind of jargon, right? And this is my example, is that if you ask 10 of your clients what cash flow is, they'll say 10 different things, and I bet half of them are wrong. So my point there is that, you know, if you say, are you interested in cash flow? Well, they might not quite understand that, but if you just talk to them like, you know, what stresses you, and they talk about, you know, you know, I hate it when people don't pay me on time, and then I've got to meet payroll. I mean, that, you know, I am a business owner. That's the kind of stuff that does stress you, right? And so, am I thinking about cash flow? They're the problems I'm thinking about, is like paying staff, you know, getting paid myself. All those kind of things is what actually stresses you. And if you can write it in the way they think about it, far better than talking about cash flow. Like another example, like business advisory. What does that mean? I've never heard a business owner go, hey, I want some business advisory or business, you know. So let them talk and write it in their words is what I would suggest, even if those words are not technically right.
And probably one thing I'd add to that is, don't be afraid to dig deeper into it. So ask that question, what's bothering you? And then, you know, in this course, they called it sort of layering and probing questions, I think, as well. And obviously you just do that in a curious, friendly way, but it's just, yeah, keep digging and find out, as much as you can. And then it's just, writing content that you think might help, or whether that turns into a video or whatever sort of format that ends up in. Yeah.
And just asking about that course, it was called Selling with Curiosity.
I'll dig it out and send. Yeah, Barry, someone.
Barry. It's a good course, but you'll not want to watch any more videos of Barry by the end of it. But it is very good that the methodology that they use in that is, there is a time to drill in, but like Anthea said, but yeah, there she goes. She found it pretty quick. It's a good course.
Yeah.
Is there any other questions?
If anyone else has any, send them in right now. I do just have another one about how long should each of these blogs be?
You know, if you ask me if it's generic, how long should a blog be? I'd be like, typically like 500, 600 words is okay. But I think with these, I would probably describe these as like deep dive blog posts. I would be like as long as they need to be. Some of the best content, you know, you can blog content. There's a guy called Neil Patel. Some of you will have heard of him. He's like a bit of an internet marketing legend, you know. And so I think Neil Patel, just Google his name, you'll find him. And you read some of his posts, he'll have ones on SEO, social, whatever the internet marketing topic is, he's probably written the definitive blog post about that, or one of the kind of top 5. That's his strategy, right? Some of those will be thousands of words long, but they're a complete guide to that topic. So I would say as long as it needs to be, but no longer than that. If it is a really long topic, which, you know, something quite technical, like very numbers based, and don't shy away from doing like numbers based stuff. You know, some of the best accounting marketing I've seen really does deep dive stuff into, you know, balance sheets and profit and loss and whatever. You can break it up, right? So you can have the big definitive post, which you might call pillar content. Like, we probably haven't got time to go into that, but that's a strategy for creating, like, you know, your pillars of content would be the 5 questions, and then under those pillars you might have that broken down. So, you know, it might be, and I don't imagine clients ask you that, but it's like, what are the 3 financial statements? I'm sure no one's ever asked you that, but, you know, okay, it's important stuff they should know. So you might write a whole post about that, but then you might do one on a P&L, one on a cash flow statement, one on a balance sheet. Then you might do one about, you know, top line versus bottom line. Yeah, you get my idea. So you would break it down. So I think in terms of length, don't shy away from making these deep dive, especially if you're bothered about search engine stuff. Like, I think like a longer post could be way better if you did it that way.
Cool. It looks like that's all we've got for now. I don't think I've missed anything, but if you do have any questions, yeah, feel free to reach out. Our emails on screen and we'll get back to you.
Cool. Well, thank you, Anthea, and thanks to everyone for coming along today. It's a busy time of year. I hope that was a useful one for you. I think it's an awesome campaign. Cool to give away some prizes as well. We'll do a draw for the website, and can't even remember the other thing we're giving away. Lots of cool stuff.
Heaps of stuff, yeah. I hope
and we've also got an accounting advent calendar. I should have mentioned that earlier, but could we just drop the link in there? This is really cool, right? We're doing every day, every business day, we're giving away some free stuff, not just from Bizink. We've had Ryan Azana's Future Firm, one of the best coaches out there. We've got Practice Protectors coming up tomorrow. We've got a heap of good stuff, some marketing, some accounting tech, some coaching. Jump on that, free to enter, and you can go back and get those past offers as well. Well worth diving into. You're right, Katrina, the advent calendar is great. Thanks for coming along.
Yeah. We're feeling very generous this month, so
yeah.
get in while you can. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks again for everyone for coming along. Have a great rest of the day. And if I don't see you before then, have a great Christmas and New Year.
Thanks, everyone.
See ya.